Hey guys, it's me again, Orcsler. What I swore I last left off. Let's see. Checking. Deku came back. Yes, he's back. He's back and more wingy, you could say. Back, bigger, and much stronger. As we get over, and my dog's still here. He's probably gonna whine throughout this video because I'm not paying attention to him. Just because I don't want you doesn't mean I don't love you. Stop being a baby. Yes. If you heard cuts before, that's probably because he whined at me, pawed at me, or is trying to play with me. So, sorry if you hear anything. Yes, I see you. Anyways. The Inquisitor knows about Izumi and them, and the Black Templar. I'll just be referring to him as that. They don't like Deku. Or the Inquisitor was indifferent, the Black Templar did not like him whatsoever, viewing him as a mutant. Now they have even more reason to hate him is because, well, he's a half-breed. He's a half-breed with a Xeno. And also a mutant. There are many reasons why they do not like Deku. The rest of the Death Watch squad are pretty okay with him. And even the assassin is more or less... He's a valuable tool, that he is something valuable that can prove useful to the Imperium. Sorry, I just took a drink of water. A drink. But as we cut back to where I left off is that Sato and, as Sato has come across their group, as I would like to introduce, different characters into this. Sato being one of them. We don't know much about Sato. From my recollection, my knowledge, and I know that they've gone a bit further in the future during the further seasons or chapters of My Hero Academy. I haven't heard much stuff happening with Sato, so I want to give him some showing, especially since I actually kind of like him. His quirk is actually pretty good, and I have a really good idea with him. Have him in this. But as he pretty much introduces himself to Izumi, well, not Izumi, but to Deku and all of them, and Sato's like, who's this? And it's like, this is my brother, Deku. He's back after all this time. As he's like, I thought your brother was much smaller. But, really? Alright, give me a second. Sorry about that. He's whining at me. Quiet. But as we go on with this, what's happening with... No, get down here. Stop whining at me. Have my petting satisfy you. But as we skip over to... Well, we go back. As Sato's surprised by the immense size of Deku, he's like, that's your brother? As he is literally looking up at him as Deku says, it is a pleasure to meet you, Sato. Has my sister been doing well? As it's like, as he wipes a dumb look off his face, as he's just very huh, like that sort of face. As it's as he says, oh yeah, I'll tell you, she's doing fine. She's actually probably the top in our class, and during not quirk assessments, but during times when they want us to test out our quirks and stuff like that, she pretty much reigns supreme. The only person that matches her is a kid called Bakugo. I don't know much about him. He tends to keep to himself. Apparently, before I heard he was a huge bully, but not anymore. That's what your sister tells me, at least. As Deku sort of gets a disdain look on his face. Well, not disdain. He gets a look on his face that none of them could really pinpoint the meaning of. But when Deku's head, he's like, huh, Bakugo. I wonder how he took it when, on the same day that he said that to me, I was absorbed into that portal. I better make it a matter of importance to go see him, to make sure he isn't too far gone. As Deku may suspect that Bakugo is somewhat depressed, because he knew Bakugo for a little bit. and he knew Bakugo was trying to get better, but to have Deku's words, like, Deku somewhat, after time, he grew to regret what he said to Bakugo on that day, after he's like, how did that impact him over the course of years? He's like, well, until, as he gets back to the conversation, as I believe it's that a Space Marine can, like, think of, like, Space Marines can think incredibly fast, and, well, something on Deku's level, as, I'm sorry I keep on bringing this up, but as you know, Deku's a higher level than even a Space Marine, more like along the lines of Custodian, or maybe even a little bit higher. I think is the, you keep on jumping all over the place, I'm sorry. Final thing, he's about the level of Custodian, is what I'll say he is. And, well, higher than a Custodian, like above average Custodian, I'll put him. And that's just probably because he doesn't have as much experience as a lot of those Custodians have. Custodians live for thousands upon thousands of years. So for Deku, he's more or less just beginning his step in the direction. As we cut back to Deku, he's thinking, well, let's continue on, shall we? And, Sato, do you have plans for today? He's like, no, I was just more or less coming to grab some groceries and such. As it's like, very well. Then we shall, if you wouldn't mind, I would like to hang out with you. Be a nice way to settle, not settle, that's the wrong word, to get to know you as a friend of Izumi's. Because he's like, and I would like to get her to know her brother. As he, like, shakes Deku's hand, like, he's like, Jesus, this guy's a massive, massive man. As everyone around them, like, is just staring at Deku. As, like I said, Deku's like 11 feet tall or something along those lines, if I remember. He's just massive, alright? He's 11 feet tall, I believe, is the height I put him at. As he towers above everyone, a bunch of people are staring up at him, even, like, people who are, like shorter than All Might, but still quite tall compared to the average person, is looking up at Deku like he's some sort of giant. And the wings do not help. As Deku's wings are behind him, some people are recording this and like, look at this guy, he's a giant, and look! As people, like, start looking at his wings, as they see they are very angelic, as they would put it. Deku's walking past them as a person walks up to him. It's like, hey, can I get a pic? Are you a hero? As Deku's like, no such thing of the sort. Though I do hope to become one. As Izumi is actually kind of surprised that his parents and Izumi are surprised to hear that. As they're like, he still wants to become a Space Marine? Or not Space Marine, hero? Sorry if you heard me chewing something, I was gum. But as, oh, well, if you become a hero, I'm gonna be, feel 100 times safer. As Deku's like, that will be very good indeed. If you don't mind, I gotta get back to my family. As like, it's no problem. As they, took a few pictures with them. Pictures, not pictures. Pictures with them. As a few other people are like, oh, this is... As he's pretty much stopped non-stopped by people just like, hey, can we get a picture? As Deku's going viral on social media. It's like, giant man with angel wings. Could this be an actual angel? As Deku is very attractive. He's like saying, this is pretty much, Deku's very close to, he's like a miniature Sanguinius almost. Except green hair. As everyone looks at Deku, they see they feel somewhat hopeful, and some people are like, why do I have the urge to pretty much get on my hands and knees and just feel like praying to this man? As a religious couple was walking by with their daughter, as it's like, hey daddy, look, an angel. It's like, yeah, sweetie, they're sweetie, an angel doesn't really, as it's like, honey, as they both stop and stare at him as they see him walk by, as it's like, what? As it's just storm of questions. People are asking each other, it's like, is this a true angel? Has the time come? It's a lot of fun for people. As people are like, what's his quirk? I think he has multiple quirks. That's not possible. It's a lot. Deku's like, this must be what Space Marines feel like when they walk around on a hive world or something along those lines. As some of the lamenters talked about their times when they would patrol a hive world or something like that, as when they walked by, civilians like praised them because the lamenters are loved. When it comes to civilian population, they are not loved, but the worlds that they've saved and the people who get to know them know that the lamenters are probably one of the best Space Marine chapters when it comes to saving people and how willingly they're wanting to put their lives on the line for them, as they have been known not to abandon, and even if there's a high chance of losing, they will not abandon civilians. They will fight to the last Marine. As they are all looking at Deku, he's like, As they eventually arrive at like a big restaurant, they walk inside and everyone's like, "Oh, good day, sir. How would you?" As stops, looks at Deku, is like, "Would you like the quadruple XL seat, sir?" He's like, "That would be most kind of you. Thank you," as what Hazashi says. It's like, "Yes, Mr. Hazashi." As they pretty much step out of the way and let him walk past. So they all sit down and have a nice meal, as Deku talks with Sato a bit more about his sister. As Sato talks to him about how Izumi got almost failed her failed a test, or got a bad score by her standards, and talked about how she was really embarrassed about it. As she talked to Sato, she's like, "Stop it, Sato." He's like, "Why? Your brother wished to know more about you." As Deku lets off a nice little giggle, and everyone, all the women in that restaurant were like, "Oh," as they the whole Dream Boy thing. It plays off times 30 when it comes to Deku, as they feel their hearts melt at the sound of him giggling, or a little chuckle. As they have a nice day, they actually go out and buy Deku more clothes aside from the stuff he was wearing. As they're like, "The custom orders will be arriving at your home shortly." As it's like, "Thank you. It was a pleasure doing business with you. Thank you, Mr. Hazashi." As they see Deku, like I said, everyone's shocked. And then, eventually, knock, 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 comes the police asking about who's this strange man that they're with. As they haven't found him registered in any database, so they tell him, "This is Deku. Our son came back," as they give him the whole story that I told you that they would, which is that Deku went off training by himself as to attain a level that he thought only he could by himself. As it's not the best, but it's not the worst, as they're like, okay. As they're like, "What are you here now for?" He's like, "I wish to go to UA in a couple of years. I thought it would be best to come home at this point." It's just like, "And where'd you get the wings, sir?" It's like, "They just popped out my back one day." No, they weren't like this. They were pretty ugly at that point, but, they grew feathers in time, and in time they became beautiful. It's like, "Yes, we see, sir." As the police officers walk away. As Deku lays down in a very large bed, he's like, today was a good day. As they have a, "Deku, we need you back. We need you back at the site. Please return." As Deku's like, it seems. As he gets up, walks down the stairs, like, "Deku, where are you going?" Is what Hazashi asks. It's like, "Oh, I forget. You do not sleep that often." Well, neither do I. It's just today was a rest day for me. It's like, "Well, it appears that they need me back at the crash site." It's like, As Hazashi says, "Would you mind if I came along? It's been a while." It's like, "Wouldn't mind at all, father. As long as you are okay." It's like, "The chapter accepts you, or the company accepts you. That's okay with me, Deku. That's the only thing I'm worried about. He's like, yeah, the Inquisitor and the Black Templar aren't too happy, but it'll work out. He's like, oh, I see. They said they couldn't really do anything because it didn't say anything about Space Marines having kids with each other. I mean, having kids with a Xeno, so he's like, you have a good point there, Izuku Midoriya. It's like, yep. Come on, Dad. As they get there and take the little teleport thing, they arrive and it's like, oh, Izuku, it's good to, battle brother Izuku, it's good to see you. It's like, it is good to see you as well. What is the situation? Well, the Magos, well, it's best for if the captain explains it to you. That's just like, as they look to his eye, as they like get in a saluting form, it's like, battle brother Hazashi, it is good to see you again. There's gonna be no voice editing. I waited too long to release this, so sorry. It is no problem. It is no problem. Whatever, Space Marine. Just as long, it doesn't matter to me. I've pretty much relinquished my rank within the company at this point. As it's like, I see, sir. Well, your brother Neveron will be happy to see you. It's like, you're all my brothers. He's just my most trusted. As it's like, I see, Sergeant. As Hazashi just says, it's just Hazashi now. Yes, Sergeant Hazashi. As it's like, it's gonna take a while to get that out of their system. As Hazashi and Deku like walk and go to meet with the captain, it's like, Hazashi, I was not expecting you. Well, and Deku, it's good you're here. We wanted to get your advice upon this world. He's like, what advice would that be? The Magosses and the like are wanting to set up an actual camp, you could say. But we are afraid of the repercussions that could pose. The world governments, as they are now, would probably try to cease our military might and weaponry. Try to understand our biology, seeing us as different than them. How would you have us proceed with this? As it's like, why are you asking me? It's cause, Izuku, this is your world, or Hazashi. This is your world. As the ones of finding it, we pretty much, you are the highest ones here with highest imperial authority here. Neither me nor anyone in this thing has a higher calling to you when it comes to this world. It's like, the Magosses are willing to send out drones to see if this world has suitable technology levels for us to allow, well, not suitable technology, but suitable unification for us to bring them our technology. As Deku says, do not do that. It's like, as a Magos is like, why not? Well, this one just has a normal voice. Why not? It's like, this world is in turmoil. Well, not turmoil. But there are others in this world who could make great use of that technology. But then there are also those who would make great devastation. They probably want to turn the Space Marines into war soldiers meant to wage petty wars on this planet. You'd be dooming it to an early grave. It's like, what about creating ships and such to colonize the other planets? That would also probably be a bad idea. If we try to rapidly advance this world, we may end up killing it. The world is advancing slowly but surely. But we must introduce, if you wish to introduce technology and the like into this world, you must do it gently, not ham-fisted. As you see my point of this point, Magos, it is not beneficial in the long term. Short term, maybe. Long term, no. And we most definitely must be looking at the long term situation. Is this understood, Magos? Do you find this acceptable? As Magos says, what you are proposing is true. To rapidly advance the world as primitive, as he would put it, and with the rapid mutations, as he would put it, among its citizens, it would not be wise to introduce such level of technology as the mechanicums. It's like, we will try to, well, we would like to send our youngest with you. No, not with you, but to infiltrate technology companies to get a more advanced or greater look and understand or greater perspective on how advanced this world is. But they must be educated. How would you proceed with this? Well, we're going to need the ones with the least amount of metal in them. Must also develop almost untraceable forged IDs for them. IDs for them. And documents. There's also the part of us settling what their quirk will be if they will have one. As Hisashi says, 20% of the world's population is still quirkless. He's like, we can work with that. It's also the fact of teaching them our language, as they're speaking in Gothic right now. Gothic, I believe Gothic is like a form of Latin, if I remember. I remember looking it up. Damn it, where's my phone? There it is. Hang on, give me a second. I'll look it up real quick. Alright, yeah, I'm getting different views. Some say it's Gothic, some say it's Latin. I mean, some say it's Latin, some say it's not actually Latin. It's weird. And some say and it says High Gothic is a completely unknowable language. So I'll just say they're speaking in Latin. So I'll say they'll have to learn the different languages of the wherever they're wanting to send them. If they want to send them to Russia, gotta learn Russian. If they want to send them to China, Chinese, blah, etc., etc. As he explains, like, which countries are the most advanced. Now, the My Hero Academy, I do not know. But I'll say it's like America and like the people who are leading technology today. And they're asking which specific ones are they leading in. I think it was China leading in robotics. I'm not entirely sure. It's been a while since I looked that one up, actually. It says Japan and such. Alright, sorry again. I keep on stopping. But it's like, I'm looking at a list right now. It says Japan, China, South Korea, United States, Germany, Singapore, UK, Russia. So, let's just say they give it a general estimate by Hisashi standards, at least. And let's just say it's like the same way. As they explain the situation, as it's like, we will take time to study this, what was it? Japanese. We would also appreciate it if you could help us teach them, Deku. It's like, it'd be a pleasure. Hi, Magos. It's like, thank you. That is adjourned. As they leave, and it's like, many power armor suits and the dreadnought chassis, the dreadnought chassis of Agron still needs repairs. So they will be tending to that. As Deku and Hisashi go to leave, Nevron's like, why don't you sit down for a bit, Hisashi, you know? So that way we may talk. As Hisashi says, sure. Why not? Oh, sorry about that. Stupid Discord. As Hisashi sits down and starts talking with Nevron, as they go on like a wild tale, as Nevron tells him about some of the exploits Deku had, as like fighting a large part of the chaotic warband, and telling about the times he's fought other chaos people, like such as the Chaos Terminator, and telling him about that time when Deku was under-equipped for the situation. As he would put it, it's like, Deku, your son is quite well done. But enough of that. How about tell me about yourself? He's like, well, I came here as he goes on a tale on how he came to this world, how he met Inko, and how it's like, and how did you fall in love with her? We are coded to, with the whole, as he would put it, the phases of becoming a Space Marine, that's pretty much beat into us in a way to hate the Xenos. As Hisashi went on to start talking with him about, after decades of just being here and away from you all, sort of became aware, you could say. Sort of shook off that whole thing. As he's like, what do you mean? He's like, I didn't feel for her in the beginning. I absolutely did not. In fact, I wanted to kill her on several occasions. But she proved that she was no longer a threat to the humanity that was here. She had only recently arrived, like 100 or so years ago, before me. So, she integrated herself into the human world. As I struggled very hard, she assisted me. We had to play the part of being a happy couple at one point, and we just never broke it off. Eventually we had to fake our deaths and such, then we had to move on. Through those years, it just sort of started as a deep friendship for her. Then eventually it sparked into something even greater. As Deku's like, I'm not listening to this. As he walks away, I'm gonna go train with some people. It's like, okay, Deku. As Hisashi goes on more of a tale on how he fell in love with Inko to his Neveron. As he's like, I'll never understand, brother. But I am glad you found something you enjoy. As it's like, indeed I do. It's like, wait, what about you? He's like, I haven't found any love, if that's what you mean. It is not for me, or at least I haven't found anyone who I think is for me. It's like, how are the new recruits of Scout Marines doing? They are fantastic. Thanks to Deku's help in training them constantly, they have improved. By the time we were at their level, they are twice stronger than any Scout Marine I've ever seen, even ones that are close to becoming Astartes. Deku has somewhat of an influence on them, being able to charge them up, you could say. That's just like, good to hear. What time is it? As he's like, it is, well, this standard time, as it's like, I must take Izuku back home. It should be rising. Sunrise should be happening soon. As it's like, I see. Good luck, Hisashi. It's been a pleasure seeing you again, brother. As it's like, it's been a pleasure seeing you again, Neveron. By Sanguinius and the Emperor, may you finally be safe. It's like, we are never safe, brother. We are Space Marines. Anytime an enemy of mankind shows itself, we must destroy it. As it's like, agreed, brother. As they like hug and then walk away. Neveron's like, As he walks, returning to duties, Hisashi goes and grabs Deku, so that way they can go home. As they do arrive home, Izumi and Inko are like just waking up, as they're like, where's Deku and Hisashi? As Deku and Hisashi are like sitting pretty much in the living room. Hisashi gets ready for work, and Deku's like, is today a school day? It's like, it's in the middle of summer, I'll say. Like, they have summer vacation. As he says, Izumi, where does Deku go? Where does Bakugo typically go? Well, from what I hear, if he isn't at school or at his house studying, he's typically going into gyms and such to train. Deku says, I'll try to catch him off guard, I'll say. As he pretty much walks off, like, into the day. As Deku's like, these wings can be quite cumbersome. As he just starts flying upward, he's like, but they are a mutation quirk by all means, so it shouldn't be illegal to use my wings to fly, right? As it is a mutation, technically, so, he does use it. As he flies up to a high peak on a building, he just sits down and looks over the people. He's like, As Deku feels a higher sense of being, as any Space Marine would, as he feels like he's higher than the humans, as he would put it, but he still feels like he must defend them at all costs. As everyone's looking up at him, as it's like, hey, look, it's the angel! As everyone's like, as a few people wave up at Deku, he waves back. He just continues to look above the rooftop as he uses his wings and like flies, like jumps from rooftop to rooftop. He's like, As everyone notices, like, he's crazy fast. As like, he's much faster than I thought he would be. He's like jumping and jumping. As Deku's walking, he's like, crazy world. As there's a guy, as he sees over, it's like, as he sees over a situation where people have walled off a thing, it's like, get behind the line now. As then he says, a hero's like, who's that? As it's like, as he's lifting up, I forget, I think it was a tower thing, that power line tower or something like that. Yeah, something like that. As he's like, as Deku's like, this quirk must be some form of super strength. Then he's looking over and sees a wood hero. These are odd indeed. As events are happening out of their natural way. It's typically how I do things. Sorry if it irritates you. As he's looking, he sees, and there's Kamui Woods, as people are like shouting his name. As Kamui Woods is like getting after the hero of gigantification. But unlike last time, what the villain does is that he jumps over as Mountain Lady misses. As Deku's like, who is that? As it's a hero that missed. As she crashes, I believe she would have hit a building or something like that. As she hits it. As it's like, damn it, I missed. As it's like, hey, you shouldn't have moved him. I would have gotten him otherwise. As it's like, you would have easily been able to break out of your twigs, Kamui. As it's like, you ain't getting me today, heroes. As he looks around and sees someone on the roof, as like, he's going after the kid. He's going after that large man thing. Hey, as people are like, hey, it's the angel. As he comes rushing at him, about to jump on Deku, Deku pretty much takes his wings, flaps upward, and gets away from him. My throat's dry. As it's like, get back here. As it's like, Deku's like, very well. As everyone say, he went like a bullet, was right in front of the hero, well, in front of the villain. Deku pretty much uppercutted him, as the villain is knocked out unconscious and shrinks, but he excuse me. As he feels his jaw, as he feels all along his jawline is just crack, crack, crack. And teeth are actually out of his mouth, as it's like, ugh! As he collapses, Deku's like, this villain is pretty big, considering. But that Mountain Lady seems to be much smaller in her hero form. Guess he must give some stuff to be as big as he is as normal without activating his quirk. As he grabs the villain and just flaps down, saying, here you are. He should be knocked out for quite a while. Sorry for getting involved. As he sort of smiles at them, like, I'm very sorry for getting involved. But he came right at me. He's like, as Kamui Woods, it's like, it's no problem. As he's like waving his hands, as Mountain Lady's like, hello. She's like, hello there. As Deku's like, hello. Your name is who? I am new around here, you see. Until recently, I was away. He's like, as Kamui Woods about to introduce himself, then she's like, hey, I'm Mountain Lady. Pleasure to meet you. Is like, she like holds out her hand, as still, she's like 5'10", if I remember, not 5'10", she's like 5'6" or 5'4". And Deku's 11, as he pretty much holds out like his hand as they like shake. It is a pleasure to meet you, Mountain Lady. As she's like, yes. As Kamui Woods and Death Arm was like, hey, it's a pleasure to meet you. Name's Death Arm. It's like, as he introduces himself to like all the heroes, as he like shakes all their hands, it's like, I am Izuku Midoriya. It's like, weren't you that kid who went missing a couple of years ago? He's like, yes. Or several years ago, yes. Sorry about that. Seems I worried quite a few people with that. as everyone's like sort of congratulating him, and then after like the pretty much the line is let go, he's pretty much, as people are taking pictures, the angel helps heroes take down gigantic villain. As Deku's name is widespread already, as even at the crash site they have some form of television or radio, as they're listening in as the angel saved several civilians today, stuff like that. As it's like, is the angel? As Space Marines are confused, but then the tech priests are able to get into where the specific location is at. As they find recordings of, they say, "Oh, it's Deku." As they see him punching down the giant villain with an uppercut. It's like, whoa! As some of the tech priests and all that are actually surprised about how he did that, as they would say even a Primarch may have had, not a Primarch, but even an entire, as they would put, an entire squad of Space Marines would have difficulty taking down that giant, as everyone is surprised by Deku's general ability to fight villains, as this is a thing that goes on for weeks. But anyways, this has been a nice, pretty long video. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you guys continue to enjoy this. Sorry, that's not my outro. Well, thank you guys for watching. I hope you guys have enjoyed this. Hope you guys continue to enjoy this, and I hope